Hello friends and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today in this video I will show you how we can import and export data from Microsoft Excel to Microsoft SQL Server and vice versa. So basically here I have an Excel file which contains spreadsheets, three different spreadsheets containing each of them containing almost 1 million records. So basically combined, this file contains almost 3 million records. So what I will do in this video, I will try to export my data in this morning spreadsheet to my SQL Server database, which is created in Microsoft SQL Express on my local system. I'm just going to show you here. This is my database and it contains a table shift roster underscore backup where I will transfer my data from Excel to Microsoft SQL Server. So to import and export data to or from SQL Server, you need SQL Server data tools installed on your system, or if you have already installed Microsoft SQL Server, then you do not need to install any other third-party software. Basically, when you install SQL Server, these SQL Server data tools also get installed in your local system. So to get started with this data import and export, we will simply go to search bar, and here I will type SQL Server, and it will show me different options. So here it is, my SQL Server 2017 import and export data 64-bit wizard. Let me tell you one thing, one very important thing here, that you need to carefully choose the version of your wizard to make this transfer possible, because if you have installed 32-bit version of Microsoft Office or Excel, you don't need to use SQL Server 2017 64-bit version. You will instead need SQL Server import and export data 32-bit. All right. So because I have installed 64-bit Office to products in my system, therefore I am using SQL Server 2017 import and export data 64-bit. Okay. So we click on this widget, this option. Once you click the option, you will get within SQL Server data import and export, just like this. Welcome to SQL Server import and export visit. If you don't like to load this page, you can simply check it here, so that next time this screen does not appear. I will leave it as it is. So I will move to next. On the first step, you need to tell the source from where you want to copy data. Okay, it can be anything. It can be a file, a text file, a CSV file, an Excel file, an SQL Server database, MySQL database. Let me show you different options which you can choose in the data source window. Here it is showing you different options: MySQL, SQL Server, Microsoft Access, flat file, Microsoft Excel, OldDB driver for SQL Server. So there are many other options, Oracle provider. So you can import and export data from various different database tools and softwares. So in this case, because we want to get our data from Excel, so I will choose the option Microsoft Excel. Then I will choose the file path of my Excel. So here it is, the file. I simply clicked it. Okay, so it has detected all automatically the version being used for my Excel file. It is Excel 207 to 2010. Depending on your Excel file format, it will automatically detect the version you are going to use. And very importantly, if you have a look on the below line, it is checked that first row has column names. So it is very important, because mostly in our Excel spreadsheet, the first row is actually being used as columns, or as header rows. So keep this checkbox checked if your first row has columns defined. Okay, so after choosing the source, which is Microsoft Excel, we will move to the next step. And on the next step, we will have to choose the destination of our to the destination. We will choose the destination where we want to copy this data to. So in this case, I want the data to be transported from Microsoft Excel to SQL Server. So I will, in this case, I will use Microsoft SQL Server or DB provider. Uh, Here I will provide the instance name. All right, okay. There is a typing mistake. So it is the instance name. I'm using Windows authentication. If you have defined some data username password, then you can choose the use SQL Server authentication as well. But I have not defined any SQL login for my local SQL Server. So here I will choose the DB. Then I will click on next. It may take some time depending on the speed of your system or the resources being used. So basically, so far we have selected our source and now we have selected our destination as SQL Server. In the next step, we will decide what do we want to do with our data, how we want the transfer to be. So let's just wait for the next screen. Here we have two options. If you want to copy or transfer selected data, filtered data, you will choose the option of write a query to specify the data to transfer, where you can create your commands or queries to define the data you want to be uh, shifted to the destination. But in this case, if you want to copy the whole thing, the whole spreadsheet, the whole tables, the whole everything, then you will choose the first option here, copy data from one or more tables or views. So we will choose the first option. We will click on next. Here you can see all the three spreadsheets which are already present in my Excel file. It is asking me to which files to move. So I will choose the morning. Once I click the morning spreadsheet, it is automatically telling me to create a table with the same name in the database, but I don't want it to be shifted to a new table. Instead, I want the data to be transported into my existing table, which is shift roster backup. That is. So I have selected my own destination table. But very important thing here, once you select your own existing table, you had to define the mappings in the edit mapping section. So basically, we will now check and map the columns from SQL Server to Excel to my SQL Server. Here, Shift ID is automatically being mapped as it already exists in the database with the same name, just like start time and end time. But for shift name, there is no same column defined in the table. So we will try to map it to a different column, which means the same thing. And for date column, I have defined a dated column. And here for work hours, I have work HRS column, and for OT hours, I have defined OT hours. So basically, this is the mapping page where you will define your mapping that what type of column you want to be mapped to what type of column in your table. All right. And if you want to enable identity insert, then you will click this option, but I have nothing to do with the identity insert at this stage. So I will not enable the identity insert. And further, if you want to copy the table anew to the destination, then you will have to click on the delete rows in destination table so that the existing data may be deleted and your new data will be inserted into your database. But I also need my existing data. That's why I'm choosing the option append rows to the destination table. Once you are done with the mapping, you will click on OK. And you here, let me add one more thing. If you want to shift or transport multiple sheets or multiple tables, you can simply click on them. But if you want all of them to be shifted to a same table, you cannot do it in the one step. You will have to shift your spreadsheet data to the existing SQL Server table one by one. So that's why I have not chosen evening and night shift, because I also want their data to be shifted to the same table. So I will transfer the data from evening and night spreadsheets to the table afterwards. Okay, and in this case it is only the morning data sheet table. Okay, then we will simply click on next. So it is giving us some warnings, some success, whatever. You can have a look if there is an error. At this stage there are no errors, there are just warnings about data types or whatever. Simply click on next. Here you can choose to run this package immediately, or you can save this SSIS package to be executed at a later time. In my case, I want to run it immediately, so that's why I have selected to run immediately. Then click on next and click on finish. So now the process has started and it will try to insert all the data in from my spreadsheet to the SQL Server. So let's see how much time does it take. It is 3:10 p.m. and it is almost 1 million record in this spreadsheet. So let's see. If you notice, you can see that it is actually inserting thousands of rows in almost per second basis. So I hope that we will be done very soon with the 1 million data. Sometimes it executes very rapidly at a fast speed, but just because my system is currently possessed with different various huge processes, so that's why it is taking some delay, some time to execute this transfer. Otherwise it would have been completed by now. So let's bear with me. So we will see. If you notice from the above action list, it is showing you the steps it has taken. Initialize data flow task, then initialize the connections with the source and destination databases. Then it set the SQL command, then it setting the source connection, then it set the destination connection, then it validated all the mappings and all the settings we have done. Then it prepared for the execution, then the pre-execution steps were called. Afterwards, it is currently now in the executing stage. So till now, almost 100,000 rows have been shifted. Let me close my Excel file because it might be affecting the process. System is caught up. But anyhow, I would try to close my Excel file so that to save some resources, to save some memory, so that my process would run fast. I have closed my Excel file. An error came up. Okay, let's try this transfer again. There may be some interruptions. Okay, let us try from this scratch. Okay, here, morning, evening. Next, SQL Server. This is the database. Copy existing, morning. The table is shift roster, backup, edit mappings. It says that the connection was lost. I think I will have to start the wizard from the beginning. Let's re-execute it. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, here is a widget. Let's do it quickly. here. So let's choose the Excel. Here, the Excel file. Let us choose the file. Next, here we will choose all DB provider for SQL Server. Here we will provide the instance name, which is local slash SQL Express in my case. Then we choose the database. Leave the first option clicked. Morning data sheet, shift roster backup, edit mappings. Taking some time. Basically, it is taking time to validate the connections with the source and destination databases, which in this case is Excel and SQL Server. So let's hope that we get the mapping page. Okay, here, let us set them up. The mappings, dated, work hours, 40 hours. Okay, next, next, and finish, finish. So let's see whether this time we get a success, because last time I think we interrupted the process by closing or disturbing the Excel file. So the connections are okay. And now you see that it is inserting rows very fast, right? You may notice that now we have almost 300,000 records inserted in our database, and now the speed is okay. So I'm very hopeful that we will be done within a minute, inshallah. So 600, 700,000, 800,000. So you see that it is quite a speedy process, and it is very useful to import or export your huge number of records to the other database. And here you see that it almost transferred the 1 million rows in the SQL Server within 1 to 2 minutes. So let's close, and that's it. Now we have all the data in our shift roster table, shift roster, shift roster backup table. Let's see. Let's query the table. There was some records already present in my table prior to this transfer, so we will expect to have a huge number in the rows, like around 3 million. These are rows from the night and evening shifts, which I have already transferred. Now you see that there are almost 3 million, 3.2 million rows in my table. So that is, guys. This was the method to import and export data from Excel to SQL Server or vice versa. You can do it reverse as well by choosing the SQL Server as a source and choosing the Excel as destination. So it goes the same way. All right. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you want to like to comment on my videos, please leave in the comment section and let me know what kind of what do you think about my videos, and if you want me to create tutorials on a different specific topic, please do let me know in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my videos. Till the next video, see you, have a good time, bye bye.